Right, so that should be everything. Hey folks, how you guys doing? I'm gonna take a seat. How is everyone doing today? You may have noticed that it is a little bit different in here. By a little bit, I mean a lot. We're gonna give everyone a few minutes to show up. Say hi in chat if you're here, and I will give you my best. What's everyone been up to today? Cool. Hey Alex, how you doing, bud? Scope UK, how you doing, bud? Nope, not new room, same old room, just had a lot of work done on it so far. Casa is behind you guys right now. I mounted some proper studio lights, put some proper, well not proper, some soundboards up on the walls, and put these workbenches in. So, yeah. Yeah, it's a whole big deal. Most of this was kind of semi-sponsored by LDO. They helped out, but it means that I have a nice clean space to actually do work in now, rather than it being a second room that I ended up doing work in. This is now my office space. We've still got some bits to go. I'm gonna put up some more storage up the top, same kind of range as my workbenches. And then I'm also going to finish, you can see it started over here, but I need to finish that and actually go over the top. So all the stock's going to go up at the top, all the big boxes and things, and then the printers are going to come over here, and then I'm hopefully going to have a curtain that blocks that off, so I can block the bad air off, all the ABS fumes, and have an air filter in there from the good air in this room, and then also have the window behind us open. Well, behind you guys. Looks real good. Yeah, thank you. It was a bit of a pain to get set up, but you know, it helped up. It helps. And I finally just have a good place to work. Right? So, plans for the day. I gotta stop rubbing my hands. It's really weird when I do that. Plans for the day. I am going to give you guys. What am I doing? There we go. A proper view. And we've got a decent place to actually do some work now, so you should be able to see things without me having to move things about. I'll move my biscuits out of the way though, and my cup of tea. We are going to be continuing work on the Voron Switchwire build. It has been laying around since the last stream. I haven't touched it. I need to get back into actually building it so that I can use it for production. But I didn't want to build it off screen because I wanted to bring you guys along with the journey. So I'm just gonna say we're going live on Desktop Machine Shop. Perfect. Right. Alex, how's your day been, bud? Oh, apologies. Why are you not working? There we go. Been good. Sweet. And Scope UK, how you doing, bud? There we go. And you can finally see what we're working on. So, yeah, like we said, it's back to the Voron Switchwire build. We got as far as putting the Y carriage on. And I think what comes next is actually the X carriage and mounting it to the frame. So that's all been done, Skirts have been done as well. We did the skirts last time. And yeah, so it's going to be motor mounts first for the X and Z gantries. What parts do we need? There's one. Alex, what have you been up to, bud? 2. Three. And I'm still missing 1 and 4. Perfect. I'm also going to need the little tensioning pieces. And I think that's it. I'm going to need some M3 by 30s in a minute as well. Whilst we're assembling this, I'm just going to put this on the floor. Just got back from Electromagnetic Field. It's a maker convention in the UK. Upcoming weekend is looking like trying to mill out some perspex. Nice. Nice. Okay. You should have told me about it. I would have been there. No. I can't really afford to go to a load of making conventions. I can basically do Smurf this year, and that's it. Everything else I kind of need. I kind of need the work hours. But we will be going to Smurf, and I will be judging you all if you don't arrive. Judging you all harshly. And 3 by 30s. And then I'm also going to need some heat sets. I get so used to reaching for my CNC kitchen inserts. I always forget that Voron uses slightly different ones. See, a lot of people get annoyed by the fact that we use CNC kitchen heat inserts for everything. But you got to realize that if we either use CNC, we use M5 heat inserts, right? Which a lot of projects will never do. They tend to stick to M3. And whilst we're lowering the amount of M5 heat inserts in the design, we're still going to need them. And if you look at the M5 heat inserts that everyone else has, like the AliExpress ones, they're wildly different in scale. There is no Voron standard for them. So if we go for a CNC kitchen standard for the M5 inserts, we might as well go for the CNC kitchen standards for M3 inserts as well. They are premium inserts though. Yeah, they are. They are. But they're so much nicer. And it does do Voron style ones too. And there's nothing to say that sorry, I've used like cheapo inserts in Milo parts before, right? They still work, and they're still Voron sized ones. They will fit. You may have a little bit of plastic squeeze out, but they will work. I don't know. It's not really a big deal to me, but I know other people can be a bit more sensitive to stuff like that, especially newbies. I'll give you some light, shall we? So you can actually see what's going on. I'm going to need some motors as well. Oh. As always, everything I need is always on the other side of the room. The furthest possible location away from it being useful. So how was the event, Alex? What did you actually end up going there to see? Who was there? Oh, I keep doing this to myself. Right. Grub screws. I need some grub screws. I'm so glad Steve doesn't watch these streams. Was really good. It got lots of talks, lectures about electronics and manufacturing stuff. 3,000 nerds and makers in a field. You get power and Ethernet to attack. Nice, nice. So it's like nerdy. Oh, what's that big music festival that always ends up being a mud pit? Is it Shrewsbury? No, not Shrewsbury. You know what I mean. Glastonbury, that's it. Nerd Glastonbury. Right. I just had these as well. I was just looking at them. I know they're here. I just gotta find them. Those are the feet. I'll put those to the side for now because I probably will need them today, hopefully. There we go, grub screws. These are the big ones. Will these fit in here? These look a bit big for this size. It might seem like a very minor thing to you guys, but I love this setup because I can actually stand. Like, in the old setup, it was really annoying to have to try and stand up because I couldn't reach down to anything without having to hunch over. Now, if my legs get tired or my back gets tired, I can actually stand up. So, weirdly, that's what I'm actually most excited about this whole setup with. Oh, big investment into Vera, by the way. Huge amounts of money were spent on nice new tools. I think I spent like, what, 500, 600 quid on new tools. Standing desks, evangelism. Yeah. Oh. I feel like these are the wrong size or threads mucked up because that's not going. No, they seem like they're the right size, but seems like the internal thread on them is just a bit jank. Buy once, cry once. Exactly, exactly. Don't say that because I am making another huge investment into tooling in a few months, in a few weeks or a few months, to get a whole lot of Ryobi tools. Mostly because Ryobi have like the most complete set of standard battery hand tools that I just need. Like I should have an angle grinder, I should have a chop saw, I should have all that stuff because I need them in so many projects. Maybe not projects that you guys will see, but so many house projects. I would love to have a portable circular saw for just to cut like sheets of plywood or something like that. And DeWalt and Makita and all that lot probably have better tools, but they're all under weird and wacky different, what's it called? Different price points and weird things like that. It's just strange. I just want tools. I'm a DeWalt fan myself, but yeah, it's all made by the same manufacturing place anyway. Vendor lock-in for the battery stack is real. Yeah, I have a DeWalt drill. It's probably my most used tool. I also need to get a proper pillar drill because this thing's not great. So I may be looking into one of those. But this is one of the tools I actually end up using a lot during prototyping, because I have to drill blind joints out and currently countersinking some holes for a plate for V2, but you guys will learn about that in future. And I'm also going to put a little bit of the budget aside to get some Mitutoyo calipers. The issue is I can't spend that money. It has to be all new stuff, because we do the purchase orders for all this equipment through, despite the fact that it's sponsored, we still have to do the purchase order through DMS. So it has to all be new stuff from vendors. 15.3. Yeah, so I can't save a buck. Like, they sell Mitutoyo calipers on eBay pretty cheaply, some old used ones, and I have no issue using them at all or buying them if I was just buying them for myself, because this is technically company property. I've got to make sure that I can invoice it all. I'm a big fan of the mini leaf blower by DeWalt, literally dedusting, swathing. Oh, I bought a cheapo Hoover from a company called Einhal. I don't even know what they are. It was just a cheap one, because my little hand shark vac was just annoying me. And a Henry Hoover is like 200 quid, 220 quid nowadays on Amazon, which doesn't make any sense to me, because they're meant to be the cheap brand for Hoovers. So I wanted to get one of those because it makes it a whole lot easier to do, and I don't have to empty it out every single time I use it and all that random stuff. Iconic Fab, how you doing, bud? How you doing? How's your day been? Right, M3 by 30s is what I needed before. I lost my train of thought. What were we talking about? Oh yeah, Hoovers. Yeah, I needed a Hoover. I wanted one that plugged in, because the cordless ones are absolute crap and I hate them. Bought one by Einhal and I love it. It is so powerful. It's so overkill. It nearly ripped up a piece of my carpet, and I have no idea if Einhal is a good brand or not. But it was cheap. It was like 50 quid. It also has a blow mode, so I may end up using it, piping it through into Casa. Once I finally get Milo wired up. It's coming. It is coming. I've just been really busy. Right. Cool. So the motor piece wants to come up. Ooh, which one? I need the open side. That goes upwards. Is that right? Motor oriented. Make sure the motor is orientated as shown. I would have put this going out, because I know these go on the sides. So if they go on like that, right, and there's a cutout on this side, so I would have thought it would go from the cutout directly into the piece, but apparently it goes up from the cutout, around and through the top. Not too sure why. You might have to consider LH Stinger instead. This is the hottest bed sling in the market nowadays. Yeah, I've seen some stuff about the LH Stinger. See, I'm not big into speed printing. Like, I like machines that print decently fast, but I'm not a big fan of the whole speed race thing. I think it's cool, don't get me wrong, but it's not something I look for in a printer. Basically, I look for strength at a decent speed. Strength at a decent speed. So these need to be M3 by 40s in here. It's M3 by 30s for the rest of it. I also aesthetics are a big thing for me, and I know that's dumb. I know you shouldn't be looking at aesthetics for 3D printers, but I don't like the way the LH Stinger looks. Right, this little hook points inwards. Sweet, and then it all gets tightened down. Nice. On top of that, this was a sponsor build from LDO. It was actually one of the kits that they sent out for us to test and shop, but the box got messed up during shipping, so Jason was like, "Oh, do you want to build on stream?" I was like, yeah, let's do that. That sounds like a great idea. I'd love to do that. Thank you, Jason. Speaking of sales, if you're in the UK, you want to pick up any Voron machines, we have Voron 2.4s, V0.2, sorry, and 2 Voron Switchwires in stock at the moment. They can be out the door as soon as this week, the end of this week. On your way there. We also sell Milo kits, and we've got pre-orders open for positrons. For batch 3 of Milo, we've still got 10 kits available that have not been pre-ordered. So if you are looking for any of those machines, go and have a look. Links in the description. If you're not, no worries. Just here to chill. These mounts has one weak point. Bottom part tend to open up a bit. If interested in look into Yender's mod for them. Okie doke, I will do. I'm building this completely stock for now, and then I will look at modding some things in the future. I do want to add, I think it's called the Sidewinder. Is this called the Sidewinder? No, not the Sidewinder, that's an old printer. So it's the Clicky Probe mount for it's a Clicky Probe mount for Switchwire. I do not want to go Voron Tap because I've had so many bad experiences with Voron Tap. I do hope Tap 2 is better, but Tap 1 bricked my Trident. Like, it was the one thing that just made my Trident unbearable to use, and since then I have not used it and don't feel like putting it back together until that issue is fixed. Don't get me wrong, I love the Trident, I love the stock version of it, but I would go Clicky Probe over Tap any day. I might even go Eddie. Eddie looks good. Do you think you cannot use tap on Switchwire? In my honest opinion, yeah. I didn't think you could. I thought it was. I didn't think it was supported anyway. Sorry, not trying to be a smart ass. Just built 2 Switchwires. No worries, dude. I didn't think you were being a smart ass at all. Not at all. Perfect. Right. Those are the motor mounts. All done. Right. Let's get this fastener I need first before I get going again. M5 by 10s. I need some M5 by 16s. Those are M5 by 16s. And then I'll need these going to the 30-30s? Yes. Well, 60-60, 60-20, 60-30s? 60-30s, that's it. So I'll need 4 of these big boys. Scope UK, do you have any interest in Delta printers or Scaras, any of the old kinematics? I love Delta printers. I had a Monoprice Mini Delta, Mini Select Delta? No, it was just the Delta, and I love that thing. I used it. I had it when I had my CR10, so at the very beginning of my 3D printing career, and honestly, at the time I was just doing like small figures and stuff like that. I honestly use that printer more than I use my CR10. So I loved it. The S1 looks interesting. A lot of people saying that it looks cool, but they would love to. They need to have a chamber heater on it, which I don't really understand, because we've been going without chamber heaters for a long time now, and no one's complained about it. The Bamboo definitely doesn't have a chamber heater, and no one complains about that one. Even though I think the Bamboo probably needs it more, because it has the whole purge chute at the back. Can I fit this sideways on this bench so you guys can see what's happening a little better? Yes, yes I can. Yeah, it's weird how you get criticism for one company doing it one way, and then one of the companies that people don't like to criticize does it another way that's less good, or does the exact same thing, and no one bats an eye. So if you don't know how this tensioning system works, under this orange bit here, there's a little hook that hooks underneath the lip of the extrusion. So as you tighten it, as you tighten this screw here, it pulls the whole mechanism down. And so long as you get your belt tension at the tool head decent, this is more than enough to adjust the belt tension. It's only like 5 mils of actual travel on each side, but it's good enough. Eddy, by the way, is a really good idea, in my opinion, as Switchwire is capable of to fling a bed at speeds. Probing might be super fast, plus original tool held mount is inductive probe, so it's a straight swap. Yeah, exactly. So when I had my Trident, well, I still have my Trident, but it's upstairs in the loft. When I built it originally, it just had the normal inductor probe. I wasn't too happy with that, because it either kept breaking or it just kept breaking on me, and it wasn't very good at actually sensing the height all the time. But I used it originally just as a Z stop, and I used the bed offset, is it trigantry leveling that they have on the Trident? not quadrantule leveling, but you know what I mean. The auto bed leveling feature to compensate for it. But because my bed had a little bit of taco in it, a little bit of a bend in it, it was never very consistent. So I started using it as a proper probe, and it got better. And then I thought, and then tap came out, and I thought, oh, tap's going to be the most amazing thing in the world. I'm going to use that instead. And then that took my printer out of commission for like 3 months, where I couldn't do anything with it because the actual tap PCB kept malfunctioning. Like, I had to have it in a very specific orientation, otherwise it wouldn't work. And that wasn't just that tap board that was the issue. It was 3 separate tap boards that I got, all had that same issue. And they were all from 3 different vendors as well. So I do think Eddie is the way forward. Is there a difference between Eddie and Beacon? I know one's made by the Beacon team. I think it's Annex Engineering that make it, and one's made by the other guys. I know that Beacon supports Beacon Tap, Beacon Contact, is it? Where you can actually use the nozzle to probe the bed, as well as the Eddie searching feature, the Eddie leveling feature. Right, those are in. Oh, done the same with the other side. Oh, okay. I made a mistake. I forgot to turn. Okay, so it's this one. Yeah, so don't do what I did. I forgot to turn the pulley upside down. I don't need the screwdriver. This screwdriver is for Milo. It's too big for any of the nuts on a Voron. Hopefully that doesn't come across on audio, from the audio, but I do have a little fan on. If it gets too annoying, or if you guys can hear it, let me know and I can deal without it. Yeah, so this should be, everyone see how the actual tooth side is on this end of the motor mount? It should be on this end of the motor mount. I need to take that off. Turn it around. Come on. There we go. I'm just going to eyeball the 6 mils that we need. Oh, 5.3. Yeah, that looks good. I can always adjust this later. It's pretty easy to get in here. Iconic Fab, what have you been up to today, bud? I think this is your first time in stream chat. First time I've seen you here, at least. we go. Right. So, back on track now. That's done. That's done. I need to build a pulley stack together for these bits at the top, for the pulleys at the top. Right. Let's put this to one side. What am I going to need? So I'm going to need some F695s. I will need M5x40 screws, socket heads. Those are those. I'm going to need a couple of these. Yeah, a couple of those. And then shims, M5 shims. And then some printed parts as well. That's one, that's two. I need the blue part and underneath. Nice, nice, nice. Yeah. I'd love to see a Delta printer, just going back to what Scope UK was saying earlier, I'd love to see a Delta printer, a more open source one, like more along the Voron line of printers. I'd love to see Voron actually make one. But I know some people on their team aren't too keen on them. But I think if you're gonna have a printer as a showpiece, go Delta or a polar printer. We need more polar printers in this world because they're just so cool. They only require 3 motors, right? I think it's an X and A axis, and then your extruder motor. So you can effectively get away with perfect circles with them. I think genuinely, and I don't say this as a joke or anything, I think they'd be perfect for like a CNC machine. It would have to be custom parts because you'd need perfectly round bits. But you could build a proper gantry over the top, so it moves over the spindle moves over the center, so it's nice and supported. Have your Z-axis come down like you would on a router, but beef it up as much as you possibly could. And because you're not running, it's all firmware side of things that actually interprets the G code, right? You just need to make sure your post processor, instead of outputting, actually no, you wouldn't even need to do that. It would be as simple as finding a post processor that works with the firmware that you're using, and then the firmware will interpret the movements it needs to make. You'd effectively get a free rotary axis with only 3 axes of movement. Open Delta's Voron Delta. Roller Hard Mini. This is basically a vertical lathe. Yeah, effectively it's a vertical lathe, but you don't just need to do. You don't need to center your parts on them. You would need to center the parts if you're trying to get perfectly round features on them, because you could only do perfectly round features that are not collinear, concentric with the bearing plate that you're using, with the actual plate that you're using. But a lot of the time that's all you need, so you could get away with quite a lot more than you could on a normal mill. And you'd still only be using 3 axes, so you wouldn't be breaking Fusion's policies. You could stay with Fusion 360 as your post-processor with no issues at all. I also need an M5x10, don't I? I was wrong. We do need this. Right. Move this over. Let's get rid of the manual for a second. Voron deltas, are they meant to be a subset of Voron? Are they inspired by Voron, or they just happen to have a very similar name? It's not a Voron project, but inspired by Voron, maybe? Not that it matters or anything, other than for attribution. I don't think they would need to have any attribution, because they're doing completely new stuff. I'm just more interested than anything. Ah, got this the wrong way around. You know what? I'll keep it that way. It's going to be covered up by the enclosure anyway. Do I? Actually, no. No, I'm going to do the right thing. I can't say aesthetics matter to me and then do the most unaesthetic thing I can by leaving these visible. I'm going to flip that round. Let's do this properly. If anyone doesn't know, I was in A&E the other day because a pulley there was an unperceived catastrophic failure of a piece of equipment, and I mean catastrophic in like the technical term, as in it's not a predicted way of it failing. Of a pulley at work, and I really wrenched my shoulder. So if you see me holding my arm like this at all during the stream, don't worry, or me stretching it and just go and wincing. That's all that is. There's no real lasting damage to my shoulder. It just kind of hurts. I just pulled the muscles. Work were really kind to me and said just go home and take a few days off. So if you hear me going ugh every now and again, that's all that is. Before I make the same mistake again, let's go forward a little bit and figure out. Yeah, so it's the same bearing stack on the other side. So spacer, bearing, bearing, spacer, spacer, bearing, bearing, spacer. Sweet. Alex's book sucks about the shoulder. Feel better soon. It's not too bad. It's just a bit painful, that's all. Like, seriously, don't worry about it. I did manage to go half the day we're trying to hide it from them, because I'm not someone who likes being sick or injured. I like just working. So I tried to kind of go. They all work did come up to me, like, don't get me wrong, work came up to me, was like, are you okay? Do you need anything? Blah blah blah. They were really supportive about it. But I'm the type of dude who just goes, I'll be fine, and then limped along the rest of the day with one arm. And when you're an outdoor instructor, one arm can be quite challenging. Luckily, I didn't have anything that I didn't have any more activities that were safety critical. They were more like fun activities. So, but by the end of the day, they were like, yeah, we can see you. You're not having a great time. Go home, rest up for the rest of the week. Right, check orientation. So the little cutout bits, maybe you can see these on camera a little better. So there is a little bit of a, there we go. Ooh. There we go. So it doesn't end, this face over here isn't flush with this face down here. There's a little cutout there. So you want these to be facing on the outside of the frame, and the same on the other side. Right, more bearing stacks. This time, it's for the x-axis bit. Now remember these being a bit of a pain when I did my first switchwire conversion. Well, my first and only switchwire conversion. Hopefully, it's not too bad now. Especially now that I have people watching me do it. Where things always tend to go wrong, but in the best ways possible. Speaking of which, if you do enjoy the stuff that I do here, if you are joining us for the first time, if you would like to support me in any way, please hit the smash button, smash the like button down below, just to show your appreciation. If you don't want to, that's absolutely fine by me. It does help the channel out immensely though, so yeah, I'll let you guys decide what you want to do. I'm not guilt tripping you at all. No, not at all. Also say hi in stream. Right? I like talking to you guys, and it makes the stream a lot more enjoyable to do when there's interaction going on. For you and for me. Sweet. So, which side are we going to need first? So there are... Right, so we want these going like that. And those are the two bottom parts, I think. Yeah. And they go on like that. No. Let's go on like that. Perfect. Yeah. So same geometry. So that can stay on that side. That can go on that side. We'll do this side first. So these do screw in. Okay, so there are printed threads, right? They're printed threads. So this is the top piece for that side. Oh no, they both have, what? I'm confused. So these are the bottom pieces because they have that little cutout bit in the center. Right, these must be the top pieces then. Okay, so the bottom pieces, organize it like that. They both get M5 by 30 screws in the bottom. Cool. So I've got the one on the left now, lined up with the one on the left in the photo. Right, so we need some shims, bearing shim on both of these. And then on the other side it goes shim, bearing shim. Perfect. So it's the same thing on either side, which makes it a whole lot easier for me to follow. I need 4 bearings now. I do appreciate it when the Voron guys do spacers correctly. Well, not spacers correctly. They design in a lot of their spacers. I do appreciate it when they do that, because on the Voron on the Voron V0, you need to print the spacers or make a big bearing stack for them, a shim stack for them. And I don't like that. So when it's all designed as the piece itself, I get why they do it on the V0, because there's no way to make that printable otherwise. But I do like it when they do it like this instead. Now you gotta be really careful with this next step, because A, these have a likelihood of falling out the side, and B, these have printed threads in them, and if you tighten them down too much, the threads are going to break on you. So what I like to do is flip it round carefully. That way I can apply some pressure down the bottom and I'm not fighting gravity. That's too small. There we go. It's like I've never used tools before. Now I do wonder with their printed threads whether or not they actually make them a bit smaller than they should be, so that they grip a little bit better on the plastic. I would like to know that, because I do have some stuff that requires printed threads planned to do in future. So I should get a hold of someone on the Voron team. I'll ask Steve maybe. There's so many people on the Voron team, it's hard to actually figure out, to remember who's done what. Like I know Nero hasn't done anything, but I'm just going to use this example. Like there's Nero, there's Steve Builds, there's Russian Cat Food, there's Heart K, there's so many people on the Voron team. It just makes it impossible to remember who's done what. Cool. So it is X-axis time. Doc as well, there's Doc. I think Doc does a lot of the what's it called style stuff. He does a lot of the organizational side of things. I don't think he's much into the Voron design stuff anymore. I know he did stuff with Stealth Burner. Well, I think he did. I think he did stuff with Stealth Burner. Right. I've just realized that I threw away the guides for this before a while ago. Okay, I'm gonna have to eyeball the rail. I forgot to replace them. That's my bad. Doc built the Phoenix that was Smurf, if I remember. Also Eddie. Did he build it or did he design it? So I'm talking about designers, because like Dave built Milo. Dave on our team, on the Millenniums team, he built Milo, but he's not credited as one of the designers for it because he didn't design it. Yes, he did have some input into some bits here and there, and some improvements that were made, but he was mostly a tester. He's credited as a tester and not one of the lead developers for it. I'm really pedantic. My ADHD doesn't let me get away with stuff like that. I like clear separation of things in my mind. M3x8. I'm thinking of MGN15, which requires M3x10. So you get so used to working with certain standards that you automatically default to them. All right, how many do I need? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. I bought 7. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to measure, as long as it's equal on either side of the rail, it shouldn't matter where the rail actually is along the axis too much, but I am going to try and get it as equal as I can. It just fell over. Something fell over in this room. It doesn't matter too much right now anyway, because it looks like they want us to install them loosely until the end bits are on, so that you can move the rail around and get in the right position. That's actually a point. Why not design featuring elements into this piece, right? So extend this bit out a little bit so that it's nice and square, right? And then cut out for the MGN12, right? That way it's always centered rather than having to get the tool out for it. Not that it matters too much, but oh, if any of you are subscribed to the Simple Electronics podcast, I will be appearing on it, I think, in next week's episode, just to talk about some stuff about the project, some stuff about my personal life, the whole project journey, stuff like that. A lot of the time you've probably heard of it if you watch these streams a lot, or if you watch the streams that have happened from some of the big YouTubers beforehand. You might have heard a few of the stories before, but go check it out. Go subscribe to Simple Electronics podcast. He's a nice dude. He works hard. That's out now, apparently. Oh, is it? Oh, cool, yeah. Well, I think it's already out. Well, according to Alex, it's already out. Go watch of it. It was a fun time. Good chatting with him. We'll give it a listen tomorrow out on a walk. Yeah, it's about an hour long, so plan your hikes accordingly. Your hikes, your walks, should you so wish. And if you have the money to spare, shoot him something over on Patreon. He really is a nice guy, but from what we were talking about, it's not easy making YouTube content. He's not quite at the independent YouTuber level yet. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to leave this loose for now, just so I can fit the end pieces, and then I'll go about actually straightening it up. So these bits, little tabby bits on the front, and bearings go on the outside. Should slide on the ends. Yep. And you want this end right here flush with the end of the extrusion. And I just need some M5 Rolling T-nuts. Is there one on the other side? Yes, there is. So, will this fit in fine like that? Yes, it will. I'm going to try and orient these in a way that means that I don't have to worry about them too much in terms of looks. I hate Masumi rails. So Masumi rails have the square profiles on the inside. They're not like V slot extrusions like we use on Milo. I'm not a big fan of them because it means it's so much harder to get things like rolling T-nuts through. They just annoy me a bit. I need some M5x10s. Has anyone got anything cool planned for the next week? I know Alex said that he was doing acrylic. What are you actually doing that's acrylic on Milo? And that's not gone in straight, has it? I'm interested now. What are you doing that's acrylic on Milo? I've never actually milled acrylic before. It's one of those things I just haven't had to do. But I would be very interested in learning how to, because I've got some old pieces of Delrin that I had from my old job, because the impact pads that we had on the zipline at my old job were made of acetal. And whenever they wore down, they would just get thrown in the trash, and I dumpster dived a couple of times just to get a few of those, because they are a proper engineering plastic, so they should be fun to mill. Want to make a bracket to hold a PCB, bit of a light guide. Nice. Also, bit of testing what I can do. Sweet. Is this prior to aluminium or post aluminium? Because the thing is, I think you're going to have to go pretty low. Like, I would not probably exceed, and this is a total guess here, I've never worked with acrylic before, I probably wouldn't exceed the lowest speed that you can get, which is normally around 8,000 RPM. But yeah, I would stick your VFD on, your spindle on the lowest speed that you can get it. if I was you. It should be enough torque still. I'm actually made functional alloy parts now. Feel like I'm getting to be a proper hobbyist now. Nice. And yeah, keeping the heat low so it doesn't all gum up is key. Yeah, and single flute end mills. I think when you get up to the bigger motors on Milo, and you can actually push the feed quite hard, that's when you would like to go to. You would want to go to 3 flute. I think on the stock Milo, single flute is more than enough for the feeds that you can achieve on it. What was the functional alley parts? Right. So, how am I going to do this? These rails are 12 mil wide, which means they should be 8 mils of extra space on a 20 mil extrusion, so it should be 4 mil on each side. So if I set that up for 4 mil, there we go. Ah, damn it. Alright, let's do that now. .02 is fine. Right, and what I'm going to do is you can use the top end of your calipers if you don't know this, as kind of like a bump stop. So you bump stop against this bottom piece here, and then your other part can bump stop across the very top. So you know it's exactly 4 millimeters away at that point. I need this one. Picked up every screwdriver I could there. Right. What I'm going to do is you should really tighten these out from the inside out, but I'm going to do a slightly different way just to get the measurements right first. Right, I'm going to tighten that end lightly, just so that it's not moving around on me. Yeah. And then we're gonna go from the center, tighten each one of these up there, and then we can loosen the end pieces now. And then work outwards. Panama mount for a very basic trike. Like it only needed to last the weekend. A trike as in like a motorized trike or like a kid's trike? Because if it's a motorized trike, that is awesome. I'm just gonna get some Allen keys out so I can probably torque these down. Oh, actually, no. I get to play with my new toy because I like this thing. I never get a chance to use it anymore. Yep, that's the right size. Hacky engineering trike. We'll put a photo in the Discord. Nice. Yeah, stick it in. If it's the picture of Milo, stick it in. Sorry, it's a picture of the part. Stick it in showcase. If it's a picture of
just the trike sticking in one of the off-topic channels. Nice. So now it's the bits that go on the back. Check orientation. Yes. These are indeed orientated. And it's these bits now, isn't it? I'm going to move this out of the way. And now, just so you guys can see a little bit better. And then it's the two mounts that go on the back of the X-axis. I'm going to need some heat inserts. Did I put these away, or are they still on the table? Should still be on the table. I don't remember putting them away. Here they are. Yeah, I think I need to commit to an actual stream schedule at this point. It's too all over the place. When does everyone else stream? If you're catching a stream from whatever creator, what days do you guys normally watch on? Just so that I can stream on days where they aren't overlapping with other people. Just a question to the crowd. And I'll try and commit to at least one stream a week. So long as I've got things to actually do. Might even just be a print and chill or a mill and chill or something like that. Now I've got the new office sorted, I can actually, like, I got this mounted on a tripod at the moment, so I can actually move that camera around, and we could probably do some mill and chills once I get V1.5 all wired in, which should be happening soon. The only issue with it is CAS's now up against the wall, and I didn't print it with the electronics connection, the electronics box on this side, which would have been a good idea to do, but in the old workshop it wouldn't have fit like that. So I now have the electronics box up against the wall, which means I have to move the entire table if I want to work on the electronics box. And that's over 60 kilos of stuff that's on there, or in there. And that's just Milo and Casa, not to mention all the rest of the stuff that's on there. Yeah, so which days would you like to watch streams on? Would you want to watch a stream on? Or is it a case of you don't mind any days, but so long as you can watch the stream? Right. Those are M3 by 25s. I don't need those. I need some M3 by 30. That's M3 by 25. M3 by 20. M3 by 30. There we go. It's probably a really good question to put in the Discord. Everyone here will say whenever because we are here. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I'm talking to a bit of an echo chamber. Like, oh, whenever you feel like it, Jake. Oh, cool. I'll do it next December then. I love how I said I was going to move this onto the floor so that you guys would have more space, but I need to move it back up now because of this next step. Oh, so organized I am. No. And I've just got inserts everywhere. I do think it's a bit weird because obviously there's a huge lack in British YouTubers who stream. There's Vector 3D, and I think that's it. There's Vector 3D and us, and I wouldn't call us YouTubers just yet. So our timing is basically, a lot of the time we have to select times that's best for people in the US because the majority of the time they're the people who are watching. But I would like to do more streams for people in the UK. Ah, sweet. I just had a look at the that trike mount. That looks awesome. See, we need more practical applications for Milo like that. See, things that people go, oh, like this is more than just a cool tool. Like this is actually practical. I think 9 Miles kind of started on that journey because he originally wanted to build Milo, I think, because he wanted to make some motorcycle parts, and fair on him, but he never actually got around to doing it. So having someone actually making stuff is great. Also, this thing here, absolutely incredible. I love it. We are looking into maybe reselling some tools on some Vera tools on the shop in future. We don't know when that would happen or if it will happen, but they are absolutely fantastic, and I do recommend that even if we don't end up selling them, that you guys get your hands on some. This is their T-handle wrench. I love this thing so much. It's just so good. I think if you're going to buy 3 things from them, that, a set of their Allen keys, and this set here, which comes with all kinds of inserts. Alright, they're absolutely amazing. I should actually probably put a link to them in Discord at some stage. An affiliate link of some kind. But I need to set up my own affiliate link because I wouldn't do it through DMS. It's a big learning curve. The thing I really say to my other engineering mates is, man, 3D printing is so much easier. I've never had to spend 30 minutes figuring out how to print something before. Yeah, yeah, that's the thing with it. The thing is, once it's sorted, this is why manual millings survive so well into the hobby side of machining, because the setup time is pretty similar, or the actual making time. If you're making a one-off part, it's pretty similar. making it on a CNC machine versus making it on a manual mill. But once you're making multiple of pieces, or you're iterating on parts, where you're making small changes into the diameter of something, for example, it's a lot easier to do it on a CNC machine, and it's a lot faster. Once you're making, for one part, manual is faster. For two parts, CNC is faster. But there is an advantage in that CNC, I think, is easier to learn to program than it is to feel a milling machine or a manual lathe. Like, not only do you need to know what you're doing on a milling machine, you also need to make sure that you know how it feels to do something. Whereas that's not as much of a requirement on the CNC. The actual skill side is lower. God. I really hate rolling T-nuts in Masumi rails. Just so they can see where the nuts are going, I'm going to move this around this way, and that way it just gives me a slightly better view of what's happening. Oh God, that's not great for you guys. So, what can I do to lift this bit up? I want you able to see what I'm doing when I'm lining these pieces up. Alright, this may be risky, but I'm doing it anyway. Sweet. Alright, M5 by 40. Jenga! Yes, absolute. 3D printer Jenga. It's just so that I can see better where these need to line up to. And I made a mistake. Another thing I really hate about these Masumi rails, if you put an M5 heat insert into them, you can't take them out unless you push them through an end. So I put these in wrong. I can't take them out without having to take the end out. I understand why Voron uses them, because the profile of an MGN 12 rail doesn't sit very well in V-slot. Doesn't make it any less annoying though. that ends back in. And then we can try this again. So I'm going to put this end in like that. And this end in like that. Right. Right. Should be lined up enough just to get them slightly tightened. Just so it's not falling out. And I've screwed in the wrong bit. Great. I've gone and put some interesting, maybe Milo possible injection molding stuff on. I would love to make an injection molder. Hold on, let me take this out of my mouth so I can actually talk. I would love to make an injection molder. I would love to. I think it is something that we will do in future. I don't see why it can't be possible for less than £2 grand. I know £2 sounds like a lot, but if you look at the kind of mini injection molders that we have, and I'm talking about a fully automated one. I'm not talking about like an Injecto from, who makes the Injecto? Someone makes a machine called the Injecto. I'm not talking about that style where it's a semi-automatic system where you have to manually place and remove the molds. I'm talking about one where you can effectively have a lights off manufacturing hub in your garage. I'm going to have a bit of my big head in the way just so I can line these up. So apologies for that. Don't stare at my bald spot too much. Don't read that the wrong way either. Like we haven't started on anything. Like we're not at a point where we will be making one, but I think come the next 2 years you will hear some news from me about an injection molder. Perfect, so I can disassemble this stack now. And the thing is, Milo is like the perfect companion to that. Because Milo, you'll be able to make the same scale of injection molds. Right, X-axis installation, lightly tighten the M5 by 40 bolts and align the X-axis horizontally by moving it all the way to the top. Make sure it is centered across the front. Right, that looks good. A little bit to the left. And then tighten down. Hold the X-axis against the stoppers and fully tighten the bolts. Move the X-axis back, up and down, check for binding. Cool. Nope, that runs pretty smooth. I did spend a lot of time getting these rails absolutely straight. Actually took an indicator to them. we go. That feels good. It's 100% small engineering to really tech tree. Reality tech tree. Yeah, exactly. Prototype to manufacture in small runs, make big runs. Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of people who are a lot of people in the world are moving to kind of going back to a kind of cottage style industry where they have big ideas, but it's so prohibiting to start a business at scale for a lot of people. So having access to machines like Milo, and an injection molder, would be really good for them, and quite profitable. And you know me, I'm not a guy who speaks about profit a lot. I just don't care about money, but I do care that other people care about it. Cool. So we're doing the X-axis carriage by the looks of it. So back on the floor you go. Inevitably, I'll need that again because it's me. Nope. Have I printed it? I don't know if I printed this yet. I don't think I've printed this yet, have I? Okay, I printed those. So maybe we can do it by process of elimination. Right, that's there. Ow, my shoulder really hurts. That's for the bed mount. Nope. Doesn't look like I have printed it. Well, shit. What's this part called? Does it? No, doesn't say it. Alright, it's a small enough part, we should be able to get away with printing it now during the stream whilst they install some other bits and pieces. So let's get that sorted first before I continue anything else. Right, let's get the bamboo fired up. There you go. So that's unloading now. What color filament is it? It's the blue ABS. Also, shout out to the guys over at West 3D. They sent me over some of their ambrosia filament to test out for V.2, and this stuff is absolutely fantastic. I love it so much. Very low warpage on it, like less than 0.1% from my testing. And it's all sparkly and just, it's got all the good stuff. It's got all the good stuff. Right. Right, so that's printing now. That should be fine. It shouldn't take too long to print, but we will get on with some other stuff whilst it's printing. Let me just get it all. No, Walker Slicer, I don't want that. Voron Switchwire. Stealth of the main body. No, I don't need the stealth burner stuff. Anyone in chat who has built a Switchwire before, where can I find that piece? Is it in gantry? It's YZ axis. Keyback mount, no. Motor mount, no. Carriage stop, no. Bearing block. Bearing block, right, I guess. Bearing block. Is that it? Nope, that's not it. Right. X carriage. There we go. Nope. It is called the X bearing block. Wait. It's going to be extra heavy because it's using the Millennium settings, but that should be fine. Hide this piece, you shouldn't see it. It's not for your eyes to see. Secret part, secret part. Purging old filament. Alright, that should be ready to go in a second. Sweet, okay, so in that case, I am going to ignore the x-axis for now, and we're going to go about the screen, which means we're going to have to go onto the LDO supplementary guide for this one. Switchwire. So it's RevC. Cool. Push over, tips, check out the arrows, Voron, cube. Guide, supplementary print guide, use update print parts, supplementary wiring guide. Okay, placing wire electronics. Toolhead X, connecting the toolhead, connecting the heat bed, covering the wire ducts, wiring the electronics. Is there a thing in here for the screen? Is this the RevC kit? This is RevC. Mainboard, DC, final touch, toolhead wiring, mainboard. Is there anything for the screen in here, or am I just gonna have to guess? Nope. Switchwire kit addendum, no. Okay, so if you don't know what I'm talking about, the RevC kit has a touchscreen that it comes with. Let's see if I can find it real quick. Should be in my many boxes. There we go. So it comes with a touchscreen, and that's meant to run. That runs clipper screen, and it's meant to attach onto the front in a little printed case. But I can't find a guide for the printed case anywhere on LDO's website, at least. So I'm going to assume there's a few things that I'm missing. Right. So I'm just going to try and YOLO this a little bit. So those look like M2.5 or M3. Who knows? Who knows? So I guess that looks like it's a point for an M3 heat inset. So I'm going to do that. I'm surprised it's not on the LDO wiring guide. Yeah, that's definitely for a heat insert because that's gone straight in. What are these? M3x6, button head cap screws, rewired items. There's nothing for it in the Switchwire assembly guide, is there? Yeah, I don't think there's, because this is an extra part. It doesn't come with, it's not stock. This is something that LDO's added. So I'm not sure. Yeah, so they use one of the old LCD style ones on their version of it. There's no guide for the touchscreen on this one, unless there is on the print guide. No, I don't want the addendum. RevC print guide. Assembly manual, GitHub repository. Right, controller mount. Support tracker, network. Touch panel. The case, there we go. Voron, Switchwire. Touch panel. Button caps. Oh, there is a little insert for buttons, isn't there? Yeah. Nice. Yeah. Yeah, there isn't a guide for it, not that I can see. Touch panel case. This touch panel panel case consists of 3 parts: the case, the mounting plate, and the button cap. Nowhere, because it's an LDO part, like it should have DC power, the main board, SKR mini, connecting XYZ, heat bed and fan, final touch-ups, connecting the LCD. User provided. Route the LED cable, the connection touch panel. Okay, cool. I mean, it's nice to know how to wire it, but what hardware am I meant to be using for it? It doesn't have that anywhere in the guide. Okay, right. Let's get on with it. So, I know that those little inserts go in there. Oh, this is a fiddly part to get in. So I know because those 2 buttons parts go there, that the buttons need to go this way in. And my assumption is that this then attaches to the back like that. And then gets screwed in that way. So 4 mounting bits at the back. I'm going to hazard a guess that it's these M3x6s. Let's take one out for now, just to check. Is that the right way round, actually? No. Let's go like that. Yep. Cool. Cool, 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 cool. Nope, that's not tightening up at all. M2.5 maybe? That's normally what the standard is for electronics, for small electronics parts. Take this out of the way for now. Right. Are these M3? Oh. Why are they covered up in tape? They've got like Kapton tape on them. Hold on. That might be the reason they weren't tightening up. Holding out hope that these are still M3. No longer holding out hope that these are M3. Alright, let's look for some M2.5 hardware. Screw, self-tapping, no. Nope. Right, this would have been a whole lot easier if there had been some kind of wave ahead M3x8, no. With some kind of instructions for it, but I can't find any. M2.5x8. Right, let's have a look and see if these are the ones. Looks to be the right amount with a few extras. Right size. Yes, that's the right size. And they are the correct screws. They are button head screws, which should be used when you're screwing directly into plastic. Sorry, butting up the head against plastic. If you don't have washers, right, button head screws are absolutely fine to do the same thing. But if you're using socket head cap screws, then you need to have some kind of washer there. Right, and this should work now, hopefully. That goes to the top. Hey, finally they're tightening. Oh, that was a tangent and a half. Right, those buttons we should be able to use those buttons to rotate the display once it's on. Nice, okay, finally. Buttons do work. Right, I'll attach in there with a ribbon cable later on when we get to the wiring portion of this. But for now, I am going to install it onto here. Now, it's going to be an absolute guess again with which screw is going to be the one that we use. But my assumption is it's going to be quite a long one. So M3x30. Yeah, this is one thing I do wish they actually had instructions for, but they don't. Oh no, that's going to be way too long. That's way too long. Right, so M3x30, way too long. I'm going to say the same for M3x25. So M3 by 16, maybe. I think that's the next longest size. Yeah, that seems about right. Yeah. Sweet. Yep, that looks good. Yeah. So that's the screen that we're talking about. And if you are going to get a clipper machine, get clipper screen. It makes your life so much easier. I'm glad LDO decided to put this in the kit and not just have the stock clicky wheel one, because I really hate those. I really hate those. Right, how much longer do we have? We have 4 more minutes on that part. We can start on. Looks like a nice screen. Yes, it is a really nice screen. They also have not the exact same one, but a similar one on the Trident kit that I got, and I love that thing. So that's gonna go on the side. We're gonna grab these bits and we'll do the heat inserts for these whilst we're waiting. So that on. Get all the way back up to where we were. Right, awesome. So heat inserts. And by the looks of it, some M3 nut inserts as well. Well, that's a point. I should actually stream the VLMP build. I'm going to save the VLMP build for when I don't have something to do. When I don't have anything to stream. I might actually end stream here, because it looks like a few people have dropped off. So, what we'll do is we'll finish stream here, probably continue the next stream tomorrow, right, as a kind of bonus extra stream. I'm going to try and, let's move some cameras first. I'm going to try and make streams definitely be a whole lot more regular now that the new office is built and I can actually stream in here for a lot longer without it becoming completely unbearable. So thank you all for coming. I really do appreciate it. Like I said, if you're looking for any Vorons, any Positrons, or any Milo kits, they are available at the DMS store. Links in the description as well as the channel description. So go have a look at those. If you do like the stuff that I do, consider just shooting us a like. We really do appreciate it. It helps us grow. We are still quite a small channel, so please make sure that if you feel like doing so, and if you like the content that we do, make sure that you're heading out there and spreading the word for us, because we would really appreciate that kind of thing. But I hope you all have an absolutely excellent day. We'll probably do the same time tomorrow, and I'll see you then. Cheers. Enjoy your evening, guys.